happened now?
So I was doing a lot of TV auditions back in the early 2000s, mid to 2000s, and I got a few. I was on Law and Order, Sex and the City, Sopranos, and I started to get known by the casting agents. So my agent got a call from the Law and Order casting agent saying that Dick Wolf, who created Law and Order, and Chicago PD and all of that, Dick Wolf had a new show. And they wanted me to come in and read for a character for one show, just one day in. And he was a cop, and he wanted to tell us, he was telling a story in the precinct about an arrest he made in a bodega where the criminal walked in with a paper bag over his head, but he had cut the mouth and the eyes were here instead of here, so he couldn't see. So he called him a street name, like so there's Schlamoozle, but it wasn't a street name I'd ever heard. It's like Schlamoozle, something like that. And I remember thinking, that's not a word I've ever heard. And, but I said, it seems important to the script, so let me make sure I don't screw it up. So the day I go in for the audition, I'm thinking it's a first audition, but it wasn't. It was a callback. It was the end. So when I walk in the door, everybody involved, the director's there, there's like 10 people behind the table, which kind of threw me. So I go in and they go, okay, do the monologue. And I read the monologue and I'm thinking that word, Schlamoozle, that word. And I get through the monologue and I did a really good job, but I knew that I went too slow. So the director goes, okay, you did a good job, but you got to pick up the pace. You got to pick up the pace. And I said, you know, I know it's that word, that stupid word, Schlamoozle. I know it's a street word, but I'm not used to it. And some older guy at the end goes, no, it's not a word. We'll get rid of it. Just use it for now. And I go, no, it's a word. And he goes, it's not a word. I go, no, I know I've heard it. It's a street word. I just don't. And he goes, it's not a word. I go, it's a word. So a guy on the other side of the table goes, you know, when I wrote it, and I realized, oh my God, I'm insulting the writer. I didn't even know. Why is the writer here? So I kind of insulted the writer, and now I'm going to go do the monologue again. And the director goes, just go back. And I'm like, I'm still arguing with the old guy. It's a word. It's not a word. It's a word. It's not a word. So the director goes, do it again and pick up the pace. So I go to start the monologue, and I go, am I doing the word? And the director goes, yeah, keep it for now. And I go, because you know it's a word. And the old guy goes, it's not a word. I go, it's a word. So I finished the audition, and they were laughing, and I knew I nailed it. And I get home, and the next day my agent calls me. She says, you didn't get the part, but they offered you a court officer. And you'd be playing, it's a smaller role, it's only one line, and you'd get less money than you normally get. So I was like, nah, I don't want to take it then. And my agent goes, yeah, I'm going to turn it down. So she calls the casting agent, and she goes, the name of the show is Conviction. It's about lawyers. He's playing a court officer. He's going to be on the show all the time whenever they go to court. He's got to take the role. So I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. So now I got a recurring role. I'm like all excited. I got a recurring role on a TV show. So I go in the day to shoot my line. It was one line. And they're taking me around, and I run into the old guy from the audition. And he goes, did you find out if it's a word? I go, it's a word. He goes, it's not a word. I go, it's a word. He goes, it's not a word. And he walks away. And I'm laughing, and the guy who's showing me around goes, wow, Dick Wolf really likes you. And I'm like, that was Dick Wolf? If I knew it was Dick Wolf, I would have never treated him like that. Yeah, I've been so scared of him, I would have said a word. So I end up getting the part because I didn't know it was Dick Wolf. So now I got a recurring part on a show that only aired 6 episodes. Dick Wolf, everything he touches turns to 20 years in show business. But no, the one show I get on, I did the one episode, the first episode I had that one line, and I got screwed.
Story of my life, brother. Story of my life.